The Lord touches my mouth and puts his words in it. Lord, I will go wherever you send me and speak whatever you give me to speak. I am not afraid of their faces because your sword protects me at all times. Father, you are my sustainer, my provider, my comforter, my guide, my strength, and most of all, my friend. In the name of Jesus and the power of his blood, I equip myself right now with the whole armor of God, that I am covered from head to toe in every aspect of my life. There should be no parts of my life that are exposed on the inside or out, but all shall be covered by the blood of Jesus. In the name of Jesus and the power of his blood, I put on the helmet of salvation. I have been redeemed from all traces of poverty, and I rebuke and bind a poverty spirit. You supply all of my needs, and I am blessed all the days of my life. In the name of Jesus, I speak abundant harvest in my life. My bank accounts are overflowing, and my barns are full. The blessings of the Lord overtake and pursue me all the days of my life. I speak financial security and wholeness over my family and the perfect will of God in my life. In the name of Jesus and the power of his blood, I rebuke, bind, and curse the spirit of death. I shall not see untimely death, nor shall death have any hold over me. I shall fulfill all of my days, months, hours, years, minutes, and seconds. I have divine order in my life, and death has no grip on me. 1,000 shall fall by my side, and 10,000 by my right hand, but it shall not come nigh me. In the name of Jesus and the power of his blood, my feet are shod with the gospel of peace. Peace rests upon me and covers my mind and heart. I have peace in the midst of storms, chaos, and confusion. Your peace comforts me in times of trial and sustains me from being weak. It surpasses all understanding, rendering logic helpless. And
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
It is time for us to use our power. Please do not beg folks for power. Nobody is going to give it to you. You were born with power.
Some very sad news for all of you and people who love peace all over the world. Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's below me.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
But the hard truth is that not everyone is sharing in this city's splendor and glory. There are more poor than ever, more families in trouble, more and more people who need help but can't find it. A struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself.
We believe that all men are created equal, yet many are denied equal treatment.
And so we say to all in this nation who dare listen to us, black, white, Jew, Gentile, Asian, Latino, that we are brothers and sisters in a long and difficult struggle.
We have a government, sir, that needs to be opened up before the American people.
We have a government as a result of being hit by the car on West Florissant. I think she was 39 years old. I can't call her name right now, but it'll come to me in a minute. Her baby is, I think it was a 2-year-old child or something that's still in the hospital in critical condition. For those of you that may not be aware, we recently had a real bad snow and ice storm here in the city of St. Louis, and as a result, a lot of our streets were not properly cared for, and the issue, in my opinion, is a result of a lot of the, for lack of better words, ills that we fail to address as it relates to traffic laws not being enforced. And as a result of, for whatever reason, not wanting to enforce traffic laws, they had to put down these different barriers and what have you to prevent people from weaving in and out of traffic. So when the snow hit, the snowplow truck drivers were a little hesitant to plow in certain areas in fear of hitting some of those barriers. And some of the areas, as like West Florissant, where they were able to get closer to the curb, they ended up shoveling a lot of the snow and the ice on the sidewalks, and it blocked the sidewalks. So people were unable to walk the sidewalks, and some folks had to walk in the street. And as a result, this sister trying to take her child to the store to get some whatever goodies or whatnot they needed, ended up getting hit and killed, lost her life as a result. And my heart goes out to her and her family, and I pray that they get all the answers and the justice that they are seeking and require. There are a number of issues that we are plagued with, and a lot of this stuff, in my opinion, is a result of us failing to demand better long time ago. We had, and I don't know if anybody can elaborate on this or not, and I hope somebody that's listening can share and enlighten me. But I would like to know if anyone can tell me about the 20 years that Francis Slade was voted in office consecutively for 20 years, and what did he contribute or do in the interest of black folks in North St. Louis City? I can't think of anything. Like I say, it was some number of years that I wasn't here, so it may be something that I missed. But I would hope that someone can call and tell me something that Francis Slade did in the interest of black folks in North St. Louis City, except for buy out certain elected officials to get him to endorse and carry their baton and their water buckets for him to get him back in office. And as a result of him being there so long, a lot of our North Side deteriorated, and services and resources were denied, and we just, steadily deteriorated under his administration, in my opinion. Now, if I'm wrong, I stand to be corrected, and I challenge anyone to correct me where I'm wrong. And that's something that we would like to talk about briefly this evening, amongst other things. Pianki said he was going to call in. Pianki is a diehard Trump supporter, and he believes that Donald Trump was God, heaven sent, is what the words I think he used. And I would like to know how Trump is heaven sent, and what did Trump do to become heaven sent. And I'm gonna see if Pianki would call and address that. Pianki is a good brother, man. In my opinion, he used to be a good brother anyway. The jury is out on him right now, but I want him to speak for himself. I don't want to have Pianki to talk about. I don't want to speak for Pianki, rather. So I'm going to wait patiently. He said he was going to call in about 5 minutes or so. We're going to see if Pianki keeps his word and call and tell us all these great things about Donald Trump. I don't like to just be one-sided. I like to hear the other side sometimes within, to a limit, within reason. And that's just something that I think that I like to be open-minded. And if it's something that I've missed or overlooked, then that's, I'm open to hear what other folk think and say. So just keep that in mind. Also, today, I know that there are some folk that are willing to get back engaged and get involved. I have all but given up as it relates to the money that was sent by the federal government. The folks down at St. Louis Development Corporation that were appointed by our mayor to distribute those funds have made it very difficult to communicate with them. They're unwilling to communicate about the money. And from where I'm sitting and what I've seen, the folks at St. Louis Development Corporation have a mission, and their mission is to do everything within their power to keep poor black folks, such as myself and others, from getting the monies that were sent by the federal government post-COVID in our interest. Those were emergency funds sent 3.5 years ago. And I haven't been able to get those funds, and I don't know anybody else that has gotten them. So that's something we're going to be talking about in a minute here. Good evening. There's a lady or a gentleman on the line.
Yes, this is Mr. Pianki. How are you, Prince Carter?
Pianki.
Prince Carter.
Pianki, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic.
Now you're down in New Orleans now, aren't you? You said you
no,
like.
I'm an hour or so outside of New Orleans.
Okay, but the Ducks aren't doing too good down there with the weather as well, from what I'm being told.
Yeah, they got about 10 inches of snow down in New Orleans. It's a phenomenon.
Yeah. You left St. Louis to get away from the cold, and lo and behold, look at you now.
Well, yeah, you're right. But you know the thing about this, it only lasts about a day or so. In some cases, just hours.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, Pianki, before you came on, I was telling the listening audience about your support for Donald Trump, and you think that Trump, and these are your words, not mine, was heaven sent.
Oh, yeah, he was. Your listening audience never called in your show. Are you sure they're there?
Oh, well, I'm looking at them right here.
Oh, okay.
Some folks are phone shy or what have you, and some folks just like to listen. They don't like to talk. And that's why we got you to tell what you think and how you feel as relates to Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, I would say he's God sent, because if you look at the situation of the country, from the economic, social, and political, it's in complete disarray, especially the federal government. And things are backwards. You know, states don't control the federal government like they was meant to be in the U.S. Constitution, and now all of a sudden you got him come along and saying the things that need to be said, and actually the things that people are yearning to hear, and to put forth their ideas, and he's listening, and he does what he says he's going to do. That there in itself is a phenomenon.
And what are some of these things that he said he's going to do that he does? Give me an example.
Well, right now he's working on the immigrants, the illegal immigrants that's in the country. And he's working to remove regulations that stymie businesses. Business can't operate when they're forced to adhere to federal regulations, and in many cases of the time, it's federal overreach. There's only certain things that the federal government is allowed to do according to the Constitution. It's either 3 or 4. And right now, they're at every turn in your life. Mm-hmm. And that there is just totally unacceptable.
You know, Pianki, you wow. You make me think that, you know, you really believe the things that you say as it relates to Donald Trump. You make me believe that you really believe that he's going to work in the interest of all the people in this country. And when you talk about illegal immigrants, and it's funny that you say that, and we all are looking at folks that are on stolen land in the first place. This country was stolen from the Indians, and you wouldn't disagree with that, of course. How do you feel about boasting about someone kicking illegal immigrants off of stolen land?
Well, this country is a formation of a government now. It has rules. It has laws. It's a country of laws.
And lawlessness. Don't leave out lawlessness as well.
Well, yeah, there's always the opposite. You got good and bad, hot and cold, and up and down. But you talk about the Asians that you call Indians, and when they came here, they took away things and fought with those that was here before them, the Mayan, the Taino, and the Aztec.
Mm-hmm. Pianki, are you going to sit here and say that, you think it's right for them to kick people out of this country like they're talking about doing? It's supposed to be the land of the free. Isn't this the land of the free?
It is. You're free to come here, but you have to come here based on the rules and regulations. Barbara Jordan, who was a congresswoman, black congresswoman in Texas, and you can listen to her on YouTube. She said that immigration is not a right, it's a privilege. Mm-hmm. And it's a privilege that should be used according to the rules that's set up. People that come to this country, any other country, are supposed to bring something, not come to take. You're not supposed to come and get on the dole. You're supposed to come to make the country better, similar to what John F. Kennedy said, ask not.
Do you think
your country can do for you?
Do you think that those people that were freed today by your president that engaged into unlawful acts on January 6th that caused 140 officers to be hurt and 5 to be killed, do you think that it was right for the president to free those people of any wrongdoings?
Well, anybody that done something wrong should face the consequence. But those that didn't do anything wrong, they haven't been charged, have had their habeas corpus violated. Not only should they be free, but they should receive compensation for it because they was held without being charged. It goes against one of their constitutional rights to a speedy and fair trial. They never did receive it.
Would you disagree, Pianki, with on January 6th, 5 people lost their lives at the Capitol there? You wouldn't disagree with that?
Yeah, especially. Yeah, no, actually, Babby lost her life when she was murdered by the Capitol police officer.
Oh, you saying
who stepped from around the corner? Who stepped from around the corner and shot her as she was not posing any harm whatsoever.
But they were under attack. The Capitol was under attack, was it not?
They opened the door. How were they under attack?
Wait a minute. You don't believe that they actually opened the door, Pianki? Come on. You didn't see the all of the people that were being forced themselves through those doors over the walls?
You had some bad people. Did you see the one scene where the one Capitol police officer was leading the people up the stairs to follow me?
He was a part of the Trump supporters.
No, he wasn't. He's a black Capitol police officer.
Pianki, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, January 6th was a tremendous crime perpetrated by folks.
Well, it wasn't. It was not. It was a protest. It was not an insurrection. The FBI itself said it wasn't an insurrection. Capitol Hill, the Hill itself said it was an insurrection. The Federal Election Commission said it was not an insurrection.
So you're saying it was a protest?
It was a protest.
A very violent protest, was it not? A very violent protest,
well,
was it not?
Chris, you got to let a person finish their answer.
No.
Because
You
you
can
got
finish
people
your,
that's listening.
You can
You got
finish your
people that's
answer.
listening. Apparently, that's why they don't call in.
Well, Bianchi, we only have that problem out folks like yourself, but nonetheless, they don't call in because they choose not to call in. Some people choose to listen, and they don't have to
Well,
call
they should
in.
call in and express. They should call in and express their feelings, express their question. People have questions because there's many things. Of course, you're not taught this in school, right? It's hidden in the book. But Article 2, Section 1 of the United States Constitution says when there's controversies between states, it lists what should be done. And several times it wasn't done. First, starting off with a lawsuit that was filed by the state of Texas against, I believe it was Massachusetts and Virginia. Then it went on with the counting of the electors by Mike Pence when he had dual ballots that was coming from the same state. Those were supposed to have been sent back.
So now what you're trying to do is justify people storming the Capitol and causing a riot. You're trying to justify it. That's what you're telling me?
No, I'm not trying to justify it no more than people was storming stores and cities and burning down police stations during 2 or 3 years following George Floyd. And even in St. Louis.
You're mixing apples with oranges, Bianchi. We're talking about folks that went to the state capitol and caused lives to be lost under the instructions of Donald Trump.
Donald Trump didn't tell nobody to go take anybody's lives. That there is some more stuff that has not been proved. You got the transcripts. You can read what was said.
One of the transcripts that I recall him saying, go and show them how you feel. Let them know how you feel.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Yeah. It didn't tell.
He sent a racist mob to the Capitol.
No, he just said no, baby. Well, they already had decided he did not do that, President.
Who was they?
The committee. The committees already have decided that he did not spur no riot. I know people that went to the rally.
Good morning. Wow. There's a lady or a gentleman on the line.
Good morning. I have a couple of questions if he's still on there. Okay, you saying that Donald Trump is for the people, but in my understanding, in these couple of days that he have took office, he have divided so many different people. Then he's going after the immigrants. It sounds like he have a personal agenda. First of all, Donald Trump is not a good business person, so y'all need to stop saying that. Second of all, Donald Trump does not pay anybody, so he have had immigrants to build his buildings, and he did not pay them. It sounds like he's going at a personal agenda because they sued him. Second of all, Donald Trump also have divided low income with this so-called tax. He have changed the tax where the let me get it out. He have divided
Take your time. Take your time.
Income where they are arguing over the taxes. Who should file when a lot of these fathers are paying the bare minimum, and they paying the bare minimum, but now they're going to be arguing with the mother of who should file the taxes, and the mother do most of the work, or the single father do most of the work. So again, Donald Trump has separated low income. He's bothering the immigrants. And my understanding, when Obama and Hillary, when they was saying that they was going to deportation, he was only talking about the ones that was not law abiding. They was only talking about the ones that was not working and having all this, doing all these illegal things. He's just deporting everybody. So help me understand.
You know, I don't think. Excuse me, caller. Okay, caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I don't think Bianchi wants to respond to that. But let me ask you a question. Are you in the city of St. Louis?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel about what local government is doing for us? I mean, I understand what Trump is doing. What do you think about how is local government working for us as a people?
Local government not also doing not what they supposed to be doing. Just on the strength of how this ICE, and they have the funds. They have the funds, and they just sitting on funds. They have the funds, and they just sitting on funds from the when the ICE came down in my area. The students can't get to school because the buses can come down, having to walk in blocks and standing out in the cold for hours. We have trash that's been standing up against the wall. I stay in the Bevo Mill area, and we can't even take our trash out, which is bringing rodents. They have not done nothing about that. She claimed that they was going to work over the weekend and get the trash done. She did not. We still got trash piled up.
Right. I've experienced that as well, caller. Let me ask you this then. You know, when you talk about the trash, because this has been one of my pet peeves and my concerns for a while. We don't get free trash pickup. We pay for the trash to be picked up, correct?
We pay for trash too.
Okay, so
even if you're not,
if they're not picking it up, why are we paying? Why don't they give us some of our money back when they don't pick it up?
Exactly, but they're not going to do that.
Well, they should not take your money for a service that they haven't rendered. If you go anywhere on earth, any kind of business, that if you pay them for something and they don't render that service, you want your money back. We should get our money back when they fail to pick up the trash.
We should, but you know what they said? No, what they said is that they getting around to it. So there's no reason to give us our money back. There's no reason to give us a credit because they're getting around to it, which is not right. But they figure as long as they get around to it, it's fine. But it's causing rodents to pile up. Is coming in homes because we can't get rid of our trash.
And it also encourages illegal dumpers to dump even more. When they see the trash already down, it creates a whole snowball effect of things. But we have so many ills and issues in this city. And to be honest with you, and to be fair, a lot of it is the residual effects of previous administrations that neglected our communities as a whole. I think we too often vote for the same people because we like their names, because we like what clothes they wear or how they speak, and it has a residual effect.
But also, if don't nobody, one or two person that's complaining, it doesn't get the job done. But if the community don't stand up as together, they're gonna keep doing what they're doing.
Exactly. We got a very big task ahead of us. The citizens in this city are going to have to decide: do we want to continue with the current administration, or do we want to try something new? Because all of them have the opportunity to say what they say, and when we see that they don't deliver, it is incumbent upon us to make a change.
Yeah, but in reality of it, all I'm gonna say, they're gonna do this, gonna do that, but when they get in the office, it goes right. It goes in one ear and out the other.
But that's
just politicians.
One of the things I've noticed when I go into other areas, and folks in places like St. Charles and Chesterfield, in those areas, when the elected officials don't produce, they immediately get rid of them. We don't do that in the city of St. Louis. And I think
the city of St. Louis is so, like I say, the city of St. Louis is so big, for one, and for two, community doesn't come together. Everybody's afraid to say what they want to say.
You know, and
everyone is afraid.
A lot of us don't even know our neighbors anymore. That's a contributing factor to some of the madness that's going on. But how do you feel about, caller, I'm asking this of you, how do you feel about block units and organized neighborhoods?
To tell you the truth, I've been over in my area 11 years, and I don't even know who the black captain is. When I first moved over here, they came, introduced themselves, and you know, we had this app where we can go in and talk to each other. But now it's I don't know what happened to it.
It's like every man for himself now.
Yeah. Like I say, when I first moved over here 11 years ago, we had a block captain introduce himself. You had to get an invitation to get on the app, and now on that app is you got everybody begging. They had all different kind of things on there. You know, like if the area needed help fixing up and things of that nature. But now it's an app that's full of everybody that a lot of people are just begging, and it's no community help.
Caller, do you?
When I first moved over here, but they don't even do that anymore.
Do you ever use the Citizen Service Bureau to lodge complaints about concerns in your neighborhood?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm hearing a lot of times folks are not using that, and that's the reason some of the areas are left out.
Because a lot of people doesn't know about it. A lot of people doesn't know about it. So they're not gonna tell you about it. And the best way to do is put your complaint is online. So they can't say, hey, we didn't know nothing about it. You put it online, that way you have a paper trail. But just calling them.
Well, when you call,
I don't recommend calling them.
Well, I do, and I tell you why. Because when you call to lodge a complaint, they have to give you a complaint number. So that's documentation that complaint should have been and was actually filed. And enough folk don't use that resource for our communities. And I encourage people to use it to file complaints about their concerns, because by us being so divided, as you just spoke, it's one or two people. But if we lodge these complaints and document them, it gives us something to actually go by.
True. Like I say, it takes a community, and it's not always the case. Some people they scared to say anything.
And I'm glad that you're not, caller, and I appreciate you sharing your concerns. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us this morning? Any other concerns?
Oh, no, that's all. I just wanted to see what he's going to respond, which I knew he wasn't.
No, he's not. He's going to duck and run. He's already hung up. He's not even there.
Yeah, he's not going to respond. He's not going to respond because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be on Donald Trump's team. But as you see, he is only catering to his kind. And I don't care. Like I say, the ones that's promoting him, he don't care nothing about them.
Absolutely,
and I'm just going to say
absolutely. I agree. And they're going to find out.
He's taking and then he's messing with education. It's just, this man he's dividing this country more than what it already was.
My personal opinion.
He didn't set this country back 200 years in 4 days.
Absolutely. But in my opinion, he's on a mission from Satan. And I think as things unfold, it's going to really come back to haunt us that this country has put this guy in. It's going to hurt us in more ways than you can ever imagine. And
oh yeah, our allies are already looking at this. And then on top of that, you have to look at it. We owe a lot of people, and they're going to start coming in on our IOUs because of Donald Trump.
Well, as they should.
And that's what they not realizing. Our allies they're gonna come start calling in their IOUs and all the money that the United States owe. They're gonna want their money because as now they see United States as a joke.
Absolutely. Caller, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate you so much. Continue to listen and continue to call.
All right, thank you.
This is the Prince Carter Show. The number is area code 314-732-1212. 314-732-1212. What's your take on all this madness? How do you feel about things? Is it something that you can think of that is not being done, that needs to be done to get us in a better place than where we are? I personally believe that we all have a responsibility to find something that we can do to bring about overdue and needed change to improve the quality of life. If not for yourself, you got to think about your children, your grandchildren, their children. And are we going to leave this world, leaving it in a better place for them to come along? So many things have been done since the civil rights era that has, in my opinion, actually set us back. One of the things we were talking about the other day is that did Martin Luther King actually really help us when we fought to sit at the counters, opposed to actually establishing and building our own lunchroom counters? I personally don't like being in places where I'm not wanted or welcome. I just don't. I think that the fact that we can go anywhere has contributed to a lot of the negative elements in our community. Businesses being closed down, folks are just not wanting to invest in certain areas. We've been redlined. Black folks have had it hard, man. I don't care what nobody say. Yes, some of our people have excelled. Yes, some of our people are doing well. But as it relates to the masses of black folk, we're not, and especially in North St. Louis, I'm speaking in terms of North St. Louis, we're not doing so well. North St. Louis has been deliberately allowed to be deteriorated and denied services and resources so that people would flee as they have done. And now with the new MGA coming, I'm being told now that MGA is buying out Vashon. Vashon is not going to be open very much longer. I was talking to a gentleman that was doing some of the work on the school systems, and they're going around putting in new boilers at different schools. And he stated that they're refusing to put a new boiler in at Vashon because they already determined that they're going to sell Vashon and move the children over to Beaumont, is what I'm being told. And that's another slap in the face, in my opinion. I don't think the St. Louis, and how do you feel about this? Do you think the St. Louis Board of Education should sell that school and displace those children again? Or should they say this is paid for, we own this, and we're not going anywhere? What's your take on it? How do you feel about Vashon High School being displaced again, being relocated again? And I don't think that it's the right thing to do. They're saying that they want that school for their children, and they are the people that are going to be working at the MGA and moving into those areas where they're going to be building these real nice homes for those folk. I just think it's a disgrace that the children of Vashon have to be displaced again. And there's an up-and-coming school board election in March. A lot of folks aren't even going to engage into that, shamefully. I think that as a whole, we as a people in the community are not doing all that we can to not only ask but demand better and more resources for our children in our communities. Why do our children have to be constantly bussed out of? Why didn't somebody say, you know what, let's invest back into our neighborhoods, let's rebuild some schools and put the resources and the services available in walking distance? If not walking distance, they could get a bus to go around in the neighborhoods where it wouldn't take so long. Some of these kids are on the bus for an hour, 2 hours. I've heard as much as 3 hours. Going to and from school, and I don't think that's a good way to do it. I think that we need to look at bringing more resources back to our neighborhoods and our communities so that our children can have the resources accessible right in their own neighborhoods. How do you feel about it? I'm curious to know. I just don't like the fact that the kids have to leave and be on these buses. But again, some folks say it's the best thing for them. I disagree with that. I really do. I really disagree with that. And I just hope and pray that at some point in time, we wake up as a people, as a community, and truly get it together, man, because when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, our children are not receiving the best, and they're acting out as a result. A lot of investments is not being made into our children. Some folk just get them a game or a cell phone and let them stay occupied with that so that they don't have to invest in them. You have to invest in children, man, just like anything else. You have to take time to show them different things. Get them out of the neighborhood sometime and show them this, that, or another. Sit down with them, do things with them. And too many folks are not doing that. We were talking about the dog situation that we got going on. Oftentimes, folks will get these pit bulls. And they're cute when they're puppies, and they're getting into them when they're puppies, but they lose interest as the dog gets older, and they don't care for them. As a result, some of these and many of these dogs are roaming through the neighborhoods, and unfortunately, a lady lost her life just 2 weeks ago as a result of all these dogs in our neighborhoods and our communities. But what are we doing about it? Nobody's saying anything. Nobody cares. It appears from, if you're outside of St. Louis and you paid attention to what's going on in St. Louis, you would say them people really don't care because they're not even talking about it. They're not even trying to get anything done about it. And this Citizen Service Bureau, there should be all kind. Anytime ill is in your neighborhood, you should use it. You should call and register your concerns and so that they can be documented. They can be documented, and it needs to be documented. I'm going to take a quick, short 5-second break here. We'll be back with more of the Prince Carter Show on the Information Superhighway.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
It is time for us to use our power. Please do not beg folks for power. Nobody is going to give it to you.
It's got more resources per pupil. It's printed in Post Dispatch. How St. Louis Public School money is spent, or how school money is spent. It was an article in the St. Louis Post Dispatch. They got more money than Bayless. They got more money than Aston. They got more money than some of your public schools out in St. Louis County. It's called the ADA, the average daily attendance.
So, and what you're telling me now is that it's black folks' fault that the schools are in the condition that they're in.
They had a meeting years ago, some time ago. They had a meeting at Sodan High School, where you had one of the dancers was there. I think it was John Danford, and it may have been a representative. And they was talking about how the rural schools complain that St. Louis Public School District have more money than they do, and their students are not living up to the task.
The St. Louis Public School children are not living up to the task. Is it the children's fault? Are we going to start? If we're going to do this blame game, let's put the blame where it really lies. Okay? Is it the children's fault that they're not doing so great? I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I think that it's by design that our children are in the condition that they're in. Some and many of our children do achieve and excel. Those children that do that oftentimes have good support from the home system and structure. Those children that don't do so well, they have issues with not having proper parenting. There is a dilemma. I don't know if you all heard about it over at Normandy School that took place, I believe it was last week or week before last. The kids engaged into a walkout. And what they did was, when it was 15 degrees outside, they protested and they set off fire alarms that forced them to have to clear the building because they were protesting about their cell phones. Normandy is attempting to ban children from utilizing or having cell phones in the classroom. I personally think that they should have never allowed the cell phones in the classroom in the first place, and they wouldn't have to ban it. But now that they're there, and now these children are acting out and creating havoc about cell phones. And then we have parents that will go up there and chew out the teachers and the principal because they're enforcing this cell phone policy. I think it's sad, man. It's really sad if as a parent you can't respect the fact that the place where you choose to send your child is enforcing a rule, and you as a parent don't support that. It sends the wrong signal to the child. A parent should say, you know what, this is their rule, and we're going to have to abide by it. But if we need some additional, let's say, resources or some additional issues that we need to address, why the child has to have this phone or why is it so important, the child told the teacher that he was calling his mama in the middle of class on the phone when it's clear as day they're not supposed to have a phone. Shouldn't even have been in the classroom. But they have phones in the classroom where if a child really needs to have an emergency or call their parents, or if the parent needs to call them, they can call it on the classroom phone, not a cell phone. And I think as a parent, you should respect that and you should support that. That's just my opinion. I mean, that doesn't make it right or wrong, but if you're not going to accept the fact that these children with these cell phones in the classroom is making it difficult for the teachers to teach, then something's wrong with you. It's an unnecessary distraction. And if they have the cell phone and they're not supposed to have the cell phone, it should be as clear as day. Okay, you're wrong. This is the rule. This is the policy. If I come to your house, I don't care where you live at, but if you allow me and invite me and I come to your house, whatever your rules are at your house, I'm going to abide by your rules. I'm going to respect your rules. And if I choose not to respect your rules or abide by them, I'm going to leave your home. I'm not going to stay there. If it's something that I don't want to agree with or go along with, I can leave. But I'm not going to try to get you to change your rules, bend your rules, because I want to do something that your rules say I'm not supposed to do in your house. And that's one of the biggest problems that we as a people have. Too often, folks want to make that which is not normal, normal. We want to make the abnormal normal. And it's not helping us. It's not helping us. These people running these stop signs and red lights, it has become normal now. It's acceptable to run a red light and stop sign. They've made the unnormal normal. And they're doing it at the cost of all of us. When you see all these people having these accidents and tearing up different things, it affects you. Because even if you didn't get hit that day, you're going to get hit later on in your pockets by the insurance company when they raise your insurance because of all the accidents in your given zip code or area code. I just want people to really look at what we as an individual can do to bring about, because we can't keep saying ain't nothing we can do about it. We got to eliminate that. That's not an option anymore. We have to say, believe it or not, we've got some serious ills in our community. Believe it or not, we got some issues that need to be addressed. People keep ignoring mental illness and it's getting worse. Why aren't we concerned about mental illness? It affects all of us, whether it doesn't affect you directly, it's going to affect you indirectly. Do you not know that you can go and get a driver's license? You have to take all kind of tests to get a driver's license. But to go get a gun, all you have to do is be of age and have an ID. There's no check for mental illness. And that's why I encourage people all the time. Don't you be out here in this world. I don't care if you're at the gas station, the grocery. Don't you be arguing with nobody about nothing. That person shouldn't have that much control over your life. That person shouldn't have that much influence where you want to stop, take the time, and engage into a argument with them about anything, because many of them are suffering from mental illness, and you don't know whether they got a weapon or not. And so to avoid that, just walk away, man. Keep your eyes on them, of course, but get away from them. Go home. Your family needs you. Your family needs you. You know, these people got guns, and they're crazy, and they will use them. They're looking for an excuse to use them, because our politicians chose to make it accessible for folks to get all these guns. Why do a person need a gun that shoots 50 and 100 rounds in a residential neighborhood community? What is the purpose of that? Who benefits from that? Now, I believe in the right to bear arms. I'm all for that. But I think they should have a limit. You know, you shouldn't be able to possess more than 15 rounds on you. Boom. That would solve all of that. You know? That would solve all of that. I'm about trying to figure out solutions. Just like with the snow plows last week. People are upset about why this wasn't plowed this way or that way. I can tell you why. Because they had to put all these barriers because they're not enforcing. I'm talking about residual effects. They're not enforcing traffic laws, so they had to come up with something to stop folks from weaving in and out of traffic. So they put all these barriers near the curb so that they couldn't weave in and out. And I don't have a problem with that. But the problem is a lot of the snowplows didn't know where they were because all of them weren't marked. And they were hesitant to get too close to plowing at the curb line. That could have been easily solved. All they have to do, because they got all these people with all these degrees and so on and so forth, they could have created a map and put the latitude and longitudes of each of those barriers where they were on that map. So as the truck driver is driving, he'll know the barriers up there because it's marked on the map. It can be done. There are things that can be done that are not being done. And we're sitting back talking about ain't nothing we can do. Yes, it is. It's something you can do. First thing you can do is start calling the Citizen Service Bureau and raising sand about your trash not being picked up or some of these abandoned vehicles on your neighborhood. If they keep leaving these abandoned vehicles around your houses and around, it's not going to be a pretty sight in the days to come. We as a people need to expect and demand more than what we're expecting and demanding. I think too often we are using our silence as a confirmation to those that are in position that we're content with what's happening, what's going on, and we don't care. Silence is acceptance. I don't care how you look at it, whatever you think, whatever you say. If you're silent on something, you're accepting it. And we have to stop being silent. We have to stop accepting the things that we accept. I just don't get it, man. We've gotten smarter. We've gotten access to more technology. We got the internet now. We can research things. We got Alexa and Siri, and we can ask Alexa things, and we can ask Siri things that we may not know. So a lot of information is right at our fingertips and accessible to us, and we're not utilizing it. We have to stop being so acceptance when it comes to ills in our community. We have to say, you know what? That's not right. I'm not going to agree with that. I'm not going to go along with that. I'm not going to accept that. It ain't right. The morals have been lowered. The standards have been lowered when we should be elevating them. We should be elevating. We should be expecting more. We should be expecting more. Why is it, so many of our children are being taught to be lazy? They don't have chores. Some of them don't even take out the trash. My mama wouldn't have accepted that. We had responsibility. We had chores. She was going to take care of it. She was going to provide the resources, the food, the clothes, and all that. But we had to clean up. We couldn't sit around and not take out the trash. And she bet not ask you more than once. These children now, they're so caught up into these games that they're playing, you can't get them to do, many of them, you can't get them to do anything. I'm not talking about all children. Of course, I'm not saying all children. But what I'm saying is this. It's too many. And we all reap the residual effects of that when we deal with these disrespectful individuals that are not being properly reared. The teachers, my heart goes out to them. I really do. The teachers in the schools, and if we don't get it together, we're going to continue to lose even more teachers. And that's the last thing we need to be losing is teachers. I tell people all the time, I think that the teachers are the most underpaid occupation on earth, and they have the greatest responsibility on earth. They create doctors, lawyers, judges, and if these teachers are being disencouraged to continue to educate, where is that going to leave us? Who's going to teach the children? We got to do better by these teachers, y'all. We have to do better by these teachers. I think that the teachers, in my opinion, from where I'm sitting,
too many teachers don't get the necessary support. And talking about the pay is a whole different story. I'm a firm believer that teachers should start off making $80,000 or plus, and on the elementary school level. Their job is just that important. They need to be properly compensated if they're producing. Now, if they're just going there, they're not doing anything. They don't have a plan. You know, when I was a kid, our teachers had plans. They would sit in class all day long, and we would learn whatever we learned. They would give us homework. Many of these kids will tell you today, "Oh, we ain't got no homework. We don't got." And there's some teachers that say they quit giving homework because they wasn't bringing it back no way. So they got to try to get everything out of them in the classroom. So now the teacher got to focus more on the kids and what they're doing in the classroom. So when they get home, now they got to try to come up with a lesson plan, and they got to try to grade papers. And so the teacher's job is very, very, if they're doing it right, it's a very important job. And I don't think that many of us in our community don't recognize the importance of teachers and the importance of what they do. And we don't respect them enough. And I don't think any parent, it should be a zero tolerance for any parent going to any school trying to chew out the teachers and the principal. It sends a very negative image to the child. It tells the child that, okay, what you're doing wrong is right. And that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. There should be repercussions and consequences behind any parent that goes and attempt to attack any teacher or principal at any school. There should be grave consequences behind that. And I think that many of our parents that, in fact, do suffer from mental illness, they are so quick to want to rat out the teachers and the parent to justify their neglect and their inability to parent their children properly. I think we need to look at these things, and we need to talk about them. We need to find tangible ways to stop the madness and to bring about some change, because what we're doing ain't working for everybody. What we're doing is not working in the interest of the masses, and we're creating something that's going to be even greater to deal with. I may not be here to live to see it, but it's going to get worse if we don't find a way to make a U-turn on this madness. The madness needs to stop, and we need to come up with things that we can do to create better solutions for some of these ills in our community. And yes, we have to talk about them. Mental illness is very powerful, and it's something that we are ignoring, and oftentimes it really, really comes back to bite us in the worst way. So that's some of the things that I've observed and I've noticed. Let me see what Pianki's talking about over here.
And right now they're at every turn in your life, and that there is just totally unacceptable.
Pianki, you wow, you make me think that you really believe the things that you say as it relates to Donald Trump. You make me believe that you really believe that he's going to work in the interest of all the people in this country. And when you talk about illegal immigrants, and it's funny that you say that, and we all are looking at folks that are on stolen land in the first place. This country was stolen from the Indians, and you wouldn't disagree with that, of course. How do you feel about boasting about someone kicking illegal immigrants off of stolen land?
Well, this country is a formation of a government now. It has rules. It has laws. It's a country of laws.
And lawlessness. Don't leave out lawlessness as well.
Well, yeah, there's always the opposite. You got good and bad, hot and cold, and up and down. But you talk about the Asians that you call Indians. When they came here, they took away things and fought with those that was here before them, the Mayan, the Taino, and the Aztec.
Mm-hmm. Pianki, are you going to sit here and say that you think it's right for them to kick people out of this country like they're talking about doing? It's supposed to be the land of the free. Isn't this a land of the free?
No, it's not. It is. You're free to come here, but you have to come here based on the rules and regulations. Barbara Jordan, who was a congresswoman, black congresswoman in Texas, and you can listen to her on YouTube. She said that immigration is not a right, it's a privilege. And it's a privilege that should be used according to the rules that's set up. People that come to this country, any other country, are supposed to bring something, not come to take. You're not supposed to come and get on the dole. You're supposed to come to make the country better.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
It is time for us to use our power. Please do not beg folks for power. Nobody is going to give it to you. You were born with power.
Some very sad news for all of you and people who love peace all over the world. Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's below me.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
But the hard truth is that not everyone is sharing in this city's splendor and glory. There are more poor than ever, more families in trouble, more and more people who need help but can't find it.
A struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself.
We believe that all men are created equal, yet many are denied equal treatment.
And so we say to all in this nation who dare listen to us, black, white, Jew, Gentile, Asian, Latino, that we are brothers and sisters in a long and difficult struggle.
We have a government, sir, that needs to be opened up before the American people.
White folks. Yes, we do. How do you feel about your government? How do you feel about your government right now? Is your government working for you? Is your government doing everything it's supposed to be doing for you? How do you feel about your local government? A lot of folks are really excited about this whole Trump thing. I'm more or less concerned with local government and the things that aren't been doing or they haven't been doing locally. I'm looking at this up and coming school board election. Is education really important to the masses anymore? Are the masses truly concerned about education? What are we doing about education? Because the masses of the children aren't getting it. Yes, we have children that are doing well. Yes, we have children that are doing great. But the masses aren't doing so well, according to the numbers. And I attribute it to lack of support for the schools, lack of support for the teachers, poor parenting. These are all contributing factors in where our educational structure in the city of St. Louis is heading. Now they're telling me they're finna move Vashon again. They built this new school for the kids and put them over there, and now they're gonna take that away from them. What message does that send? And who's the fault for that? Who's to blame? From what I'm being told, the deal has already been cut by the Board of Education. that they're going to sell Vashon High School to the NGA people, and they're going to take over the school so they can put their children there and just throw the kids that been here all their life and live here, just going to shuffle them around again. And that's acceptable to black folks. That's something that black folks aren't too much concerned with. That's something that we find to be okay for whatever reason. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I think that we're not doing the best that we can do. I really believe that as a people, as a community, we can do a hell of a lot better than what we're doing. And the question is, why won't we? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's the part I can't figure out. And I was hoping maybe perhaps somebody could enlighten me and share that with me, because it's a sad thing, people. It's a sad thing when you look at some of the things that create the residual effects in our neighborhoods and our community. And it's because oftentimes we fail to do what we're supposed to do. We refuse to speak out. We refuse to stand up. You know, we refuse to. And to me, I don't get it. There was a time that I can recall that even parents who couldn't read that well or didn't read so well, they did everything to get to them schools, to make sure that their children were there, and they would chew them children out at them schools for acting out. As relates to the children in the classrooms. Now you got folks that are supposed to be more educated, and they want to go up there and beat up the teachers and the principal because the child said that they took their cell phone when they're not even supposed to have a cell phone. That's crazy to me. That's just, it's ridiculous. If you're going to entrust folks to educate your children, you should be in support of those folks that you choose to enforce, that you choose to allow to educate your children. You've entrusted these people to do that, so you should support them. You shouldn't go up to the schools and cuss them out and want to beat up on them. It's sad. Now you got children now today that are beating up teachers right in the schools. That was unheard of when I was a child, when I went to school. It was unacceptable. Now it's becoming acceptable because too many parents don't get involved with the schools. Too many parents don't support the teachers. Too many parents don't support the principals. Too many. I didn't say all. I said too many. It's a difference. Those children that are doing well and achieving, they, for the most part, most of them, have support from home. They have parents that care to not ask them, but demand that they behave a certain way. We're getting away from that, people. And it's going to come back to haunt us even more. You got 14, 15, 16-year-old children running around here with assault weapons. Why? Why? Where are they getting them from? How are they getting them? We have a lot of issues that we are ignoring, and the more we ignore them, the more they're going to hurt us. And it needs to be at some point, in some place, in some time, that we as a people say, you know what? This is unacceptable. We can do better than this. And come together and come up with solutions to address some of this madness. Because guess what? Whether you accept it or not, ain't nobody finna come and save us but us. You know, I love God. I love him. But I'm not going to sit here and wait on him to come back to save me. We got to save ourselves. And we have to find solutions to address these ills because it affects us. And nobody's going to save us. Keep that in mind. Nobody's going to save us but us. We got to stop making the abnormal normal. We're doing too much of that. We're making the abnormal normal. We're making the unacceptable acceptable. And that needs to stop. It needs to stop. Who's teaching respect? Who's teaching discipline? You know, and some folk got away from it because they got tired of being the bad guy or the bad woman. You know, they just threw up their hands, say, I can't deal with this, and walk away. We got to find a way. They had a meeting yesterday over at the YMCA on West Florissant there. It's by Plan STL, and it was a community kickoff. I don't know anything about this. I was hoping that somebody that went over there or got any knowledge about Plan STL and what they are would let us know. You got a plan. What is the plan for North St. Louis? Who has the plan for North St. Louis? We got folks running for mayor. I just, you know, I love Tashara Jones. I really do. I was really excited about her when she ran for mayor, and I voted for her. I did each time. But I ain't mad at her now, but I'm highly disappointed. I'm highly disappointed. I ain't mad at the sister. You can't get mad at people for being who they are. But to me, she has been very disappointing, and her leadership has really, in my opinion, not been up to par. And I think that we can do better. I think we can do better. Now, am I saying that she's the worst thing since sliced bread? No. Black folks voted Francis Slay in there for 20 years. And they did it because Francis Slay had some kibbles, some bits that he gave to some Negroes in our neighborhood to carry the vote for him. And he didn't, in my opinion, produce anything in the interest of North St. Louis. I mean, if I miss something, I encourage anybody to bring it to my attention, but I don't know of anything tangible that I can put my hands on that Francis Slay contributed to or did in the interest of the black community, with the exception of some committee men and some committee women getting their pockets lined. That's the only thing that I know that he did, and that didn't benefit the masses of the people. So are we going to give this sister another chance, or are we going to vote somebody new in? I personally can't vote for her because I'm just that disappointed in what she's done and hasn't done. And the mere fact that you're going to tell me that the federal government sends money for my community and my people, and you're going to sit on the money and have the St. Louis Development Corporation go out of their way. And that's what they've been doing, people. Let me tell y'all this. I'm not telling you what somebody told me. I'm going to tell you my own personal experience in dealing with St. Louis Development Corporation. Since they've had that money and those resources, they have been sitting on those monies and resources, accumulating interest. And, you know, because you hear them boast and brag sometime about what they did with the interest. That's what it was all about in the first place. But from my experience in dealing with St. Louis Development Corporation, they have gone out of their way and did everything humanly possible to figure out how to prevent from giving this money to poor black folks. They have. I'm living proof of that. I went when the money, people thought I was crazy a couple of years ago when I was telling them about this money that they were concealing. And they decided that they're going to come up with barriers and stipulations that wasn't even attached to the money. They created their own barriers, their own redlining techniques and tactics to prevent poor black folks from getting money that was sent in their interest by the federal government. I don't care what nobody says. I believe that's despicable. If you're going to tell me you got an area that you claim you know that have been neglected and disinvested for 70 years, and then the federal government sends some money for them poor folks, and then you got to sit on the money and figure out how not to give them the money or create barriers so that they can't get the money, that's despicable. And that's my experience personally with St. Louis Development Corporation and this administration. I've been crying about this money for 3.5 years and filled out the application 3 times. I qualify on all 4 corners for the money. But because I don't have the money to get a lawyer, I can't sue him. So because if I did, trust and believe me, I would. It's wrong. It's wrong. Just like, okay, I believe it was back in June or sometime when they sent out this list. And they got sandblasted by the list because folks were smart enough and educated enough to see how certain politicians were making sure that their family were in tune to get money that they didn't even qualify for. But they padded the program and the process and made it where their family members got the money. People raised up so much sand, and they had to pull back and say, you know what, they're right. We can't get this money to so-and-so, so-and-so. We can't get this money to so-and-so, so-and-so. But this time, when they said that they got all the money allocated, they didn't come up with a list. It's like they're operating in the dark, and they're trying to conceal things. They're not being, quote-unquote, transparent, as they say. St. Louis Development Corporation should be ashamed of themselves. And I'm told that some of the people felt so bad about it that they quit and got off and just aborted mission because they didn't want to be a part of the wrongdoing that was being perpetrated on black folks. And I commend them, whoever they are. But it's sad that your own people, we can't put this on white folks this time, y'all. Everybody that's involved in this, everybody that's been working against getting this money to the people that deserve it and the people that are entitled to it, they all look like you and I. And they're doing it right under our nose. It's sad. It's sad. And I know that they're going to punish me for speaking on it, but I don't care because what's said and when it's all said and done, they're going to do what they want to do. When it's all said and done, they're going to do what they want to do. And that's the reason they've been stringing this thing out, hoping that people would give up, go out of business, and forget. Yeah, some of the people on the list that they had previously made had been waiting on the money so long, they had lost their business. Is it their fault? Because had they gotten that money, they probably very well could have remained in business. They could have been open. When you look at North St. Louis, we have lost so many businesses, so many homes and buildings to decay and rot. Decay and rot, neglect. And now we have folks that got all this money that say they want to erase the them or divide. And what they do, sit on the money, create barriers and obstacles for folks that qualify for the money not to get the money. Despicable. That's what it is. And I'll say it, and they can be mad at me, but I always encourage folks, if I say anything wrong, from day one, if I ever said anything, I encourage people, I want to be corrected. I don't want to be wrong. So if I don't care if it's on this airways, out in public, wherever you see me, if you ever hear me say or do anything wrong, I want to be corrected. So you don't have a problem with correcting me because I'll accept it. I'll accept it because correction it allows growth. I think too often folks don't want to be criticized or corrected. The criticism, you can keep it, but correct me. Okay? Correct me. I welcome it. And I'm speaking from experience when I speak about St. Louis Development Corporation. I'm not telling you what somebody told me. I'm telling you my own experience. I went down there a couple of weeks ago, and them people act like I was just getting on their nerves because I'm coming down there about some money that I've been seeking for 3.5 years that was sent in my interest by the federal government. It wasn't the mayor's money. It wasn't St. Louis Development Corporation's money. It wasn't all the people's money. It was the federal government's money sent for poor black folks like myself and others in North St. Louis. And guess what? They're still sitting on the money. Now, I've been told, I don't know if it's true or not, I'm being told that some folks have gotten some money. I don't know how they've gotten it or why they've gotten it, but I haven't gotten a dime. You know, when the money first got here, there was supposed to be some emergency money that was actually issued out. That was the $5,000 that they pulled from the $500 million, and they gave out $5,000. I got that $5,000. That was 2.5 years ago. But I had to fight tooth and nails to get it. And they did everything back then trying to prevent me from getting the money. I've documented all of this stuff, man. And that's why they say, you know, dot your I's, cross your T's, and document. And you have to do that when you're dealing with these people. They're so, oh my God, they are wicked. They're wicked and despicable. You know for a fact that this area has been disinvested for so long, and then they just don't do it. Good morning. There's a lady or gentleman.
Yeah, what kind of trouble you getting in this morning, Prince?
Good morning, Mark Casey. How are you?
I'm great.
We had Pianki on.
Very nice day out.
We had Pianki on early. He ran and he talked about your favorite guy in the whole wide world, which is Donald Trump, as we all know.
Yeah, well, it's not. Let me say this. It's not a question of him just being not my favorite guy. I mean, I don't support Adolf Hitler.
Okay.
Because Donald Trump is not just a bad guy. Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler. And anybody that supports him is a Nazi. Now, I didn't say this guy that you're talking about. I'm saying anybody.
Mm-hmm.
If you support Adolf Hitler, you're a Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. This morning, I've already listened to some of the programs where some of these crazy Republicans who are Nazis talk about how Donald Trump technically is breaking the law, but it's no big deal. I'm going to tell you something. This is Nazism. This is fascism. And there's no way around it. If you support Donald Trump, you're a Nazi. He is Adolf Hitler.
Mark,
and there's nothing else to say about it. Yes, go ahead.
Help me out. Help me understand something. I'm a little baffled over this one. January 6th, the insurrection, when 140 people were injured and 5 people lost their lives, and now one of the first things the president does when he gets back in there is to free all of these people that went to that January 6th and created that stuff, that were sent by him. He instructed them to go. If we all saw him tell the people that go down there, take your country back, and I seen all that. Now he turned around. He didn't go with him. He led him to believe he was going with him, but he didn't go with him. He went home, and they went down there and caused all this havoc. Do you think it was right or fair for him to then get in there and free all those people?
Well, it's not even a question of just that. Obviously, it's insane. That's not even the main point. The main point is this. Those people are his SS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? See, they're Nazis. They are Nazis, and this is his stormtroopers. And so, no, it's not a joke, and it's not okay. And I'm sorry. If somebody doesn't like being called a Nazi, hey, just don't support Nazis. Then you won't be one.
Exactly.
And listen, and here's the deal. In this case, in Germany it was Jews, okay, but here it's not Jews. Here it is basically people of color, people from other countries that he doesn't like, and they're all none of these people from other countries that he doesn't like, they're not from Norway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? These aren't white people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I promise you, if I had to, and I've done this before, done it on the air, play him saying that he doesn't want black people from Africa and other people of color coming from other countries, doesn't want them here. I mean, there's just no question about what he's doing. And so, this is Nazism against black people,
mm-hmm.
As opposed to Nazism against Jews. But it's not okay against anybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's the point. And anybody that says, "Oh, you're crazy. You're way overstating it." Let me say this. We all know who DEI was meant to protect. We all know who affirmative action was meant to protect. I understand we expanded it to women, and that's great. And black women got advantage from that, although anybody that looks at the numbers knows that black women are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth in America than whites, and that's not an accident. And they're 4 times more likely to die in Missouri. So, this is all against black people, and it's been like this for as long as I can remember, as long as I've been alive in this country, and it continues. But now it has been ramped up dramatically. And, so people who say, well, it's 2025 and all that stuff, you and I know that if Onion Horton were here,
he'd be having a fit.
Well, something, he wouldn't have the fit that you're thinking. Because one of the things he'd be saying is, why are you surprised by any of this? Because he said years ago, and people, argued with him, he said, this is hopeless.
Yeah,
and people
he said
say,
he said it all. He said it all. He said it all the time. He said, especially when it came to the black community.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He didn't say it's hopeless, so you shouldn't fight back. He said it's hopeless, and you should fight back. So but he would have not been even slightly surprised by any of this, and he would have said to people, he would have said, look, if you are upset by this, you're the damn fool for not knowing 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago that this is what we do here. This is our shame.
It ain't just started. It ain't nothing new.
Not at all.
But
it's just that now we've got Adolf Hitler to promote it.
Let me ask you this, Mark. How do you feel, or what do you think about the attack that this current administration is doing on the gay and lesbian communities and the homosexuals and the transgenders or whatever? I personally don't have a problem with a person's sexual origin. If they're of age, they're grown, they're not dealing with children or animals, they should have a right to live the way that they so choose, whether I agree with their lifestyle or not. I have loved ones, I have family members that are gay, lesbian, homosexual, and all that, and I still love them. I don't not love them because of their lifestyle. I don't agree with it, but I don't disrespect or not love them because of it. This administration is doing a total, he's dropping a bomb on that entire community.
Yeah, well, I think anybody that doesn't understand this needs to just go back and read a little, not a lot of history, a little bit, because the Nazis did it to the homosexual groups and all the different groups that they hated, as well as the Jews. So this is a typical fascist Nazi playbook, and that's why I say, if you support this guy, you're a Nazi.
Bottom line. Mark, very briefly and very quickly, I want to look at this education piece. I don't know if you heard about it or not, but there was some type of altercation or brawl with some of the members of the school board the other day. Some women, I heard, that got into a cat fight at one of the meetings here. What do you think or say about grown folks that are in positions of so-called power on these school boards engaging into cat fights at some of these meetings? What message does that send?
Yeah, well, it's all bad, but I mean, that's obviously bad. Look, here's what I have to say on the subject. And it's a very simple thing. 2 words. Vote Monroe.
Vote Monroe.
That's it.
Bill Monroe. Bill is running for school.
So if you vote for Bill Monroe, he will dig into that school board and into the St. Louis Public Schools in so many ways that allow us to try to bring black excellence into those schools. And I can tell you this, 1 mile from Vashon High School, where these people are throwing a fit, is Cardinal Ritter, where I teach, of course, 6 years. And I want to tell you something. That school is 100% black excellence. And I don't know.
That's
if
what
you
I've
know about
heard.
the
That's what
fight.
I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you know about the fight that was there the other day. Do you know
No.
about the fight?
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. So, these were kids who came into the school for some basketball tournament, and they got in a fight. And the thing about it, I mean, this was all reported on Channel 5 and so forth. And the deal is, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, well, while he's doing that, I'm gonna share with you.
Yeah, I'm back. Okay. I'm back. So listen, so the kids that came in and fought, our kids tried to calm them down, but that isn't the story they told on Channel 5. But it's okay.
Right.
I'm trying to get a hold of them over there. But let me say this: our school, 1 mile from Vashon, and all black. Okay, so let's not even get crazy here and say anything else.
Right.
They're all black, and you know what? I've been there for 6 years. We don't have any fights, zero. Black kids in an environment of excellence don't fight.
But that was purpose. That was perpetrated by children that came from elsewhere that came to the basketball event that created the havoc. So it shouldn't be a reflection of the kids that go there.
But understand this: those kids, okay? I don't blame those kids either. I understand they deal every day with dysfunctional white people that run our school system in the city. Okay, so it's listen. And I've had, I was talking to Jamie about this a week ago. Look, this is all white people violence. That's what's going on. So I don't want to hear any of that about, blacks did this or no. This is all created by white people on the board. Get white people off the board, vote for Bill Monroe, and you will end this mess.
Absolutely. Did you hear about Vashon being sold?
Sold?
Yes. Well, there was this guy that I was talking to the other day. He's responsible for working. He's worked for a company that has been going around changing boilers at the schools. And he said at the Vashon, they're not going to change it because they're getting ready to sell that to the NGA, and the kids from Vashon are supposed to be sent over to Beaumont High.
Yeah. Okay. So let me clarify this one because I've been involved in this for years. They're trying to turn Vashon into a white school for NGA.
Right.
That's what they want.
Right.
That's now, anybody that's willing to allow that, it's pretty obvious what you should do. But look, it's all complicated. Vote for Bill Monroe. And they will not be able to easily do this sort of thing. And I say Bill Monroe, obviously David Jackson also, but I don't want to confuse people. I want them to focus.
Right.
Focus on Bill Monroe. That's it.
Absolutely. I agree.
If you can focus on two names at the same time, great.
Right.
Then David Jackson. But vote for Bill Monroe. That's
that election is coming up on March the 4th, by the way. Folks need to put that on their mental Rolodex, that March 4th is the day to cast their vote. Or you can do the early voting, of course, and hopefully make sure that you get your voices heard. I just think it's sad that they're going to move these kids around again. I think it's sad that they're going to ship them around.
I don't know that they're going to. They'd like to, but let me say also, here's the one person you should not vote for. Do not vote for Adams. That man has sucked the life out of that school system for what, 14 years?
Well, it's not him that's running. I heard it was his wife.
No, wait. And now he wants to send his wife back in to see what she can get out of it? No. It's both of them.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Look, you don't need either one of them anywhere near this mess. That's the answer. But anyway,
did you
go ahead.
Before you go, did you hear about the protest that the kids did at Normandy High?
You mean in favor of cell phones?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
From what I'm told is that they pulled the fire. They were protesting. They wanted to stage a walkout, and they pulled the fire alarm and got everybody out of the school in 15-degree weather, protesting about cell phones in the classroom. What do you think on that?
Simple answer. Simple answer. Cell phones are not going away. You're a moron if you think that you can demand kids to get rid of their cell phones. Adults are addicted to them. Kids are addicted to them. Everybody's addicted to them. You're not going to get rid of them. You might as well stop it. And I can tell you this right now. I've been a teacher for 25 years. Hard to believe, because I started teaching when I knew you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was the beginning.
Right.
And let me say this: I got, so let's say 150 black students in my classes, and when they take out their cell phones, I walk up to them nicely and I say, "Could you please put your cell phone away?" And I laugh, and they laugh, and they put it away. End of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Cut this crap. It's not going to work. Just got to be decent. You got to be decent. You got to be nice. You got to be respectful. Kids respond.
Mark Cation, thank you so much for your time. Continue to listen, continue to call. 314-732-1212. If you got any input you'd like to share with us this morning before we get out of here, you're more than welcome to call in and share it with us now. We've talked about an array of things this morning. We want people to understand that silence is acceptance, and when you're silent about something, that means you're going along with it. And we have begun as a people, as a society, to accept the unacceptable, and we've began to make the abnormal normal, and that's causing a lot of the havoc and the issues and the ills in our community. Basic policing, we don't have that anymore. The only time folks see, if you see them then, is when folks call, and it's got to be a dire emergency for them to respond. I just think that we as a people deserve better, and we can do better than what we're doing. And until we stop being silent, until we put our hearts, minds, and heads together to create tangible solutions to bring about overdue and needed change, things are only going to get worse. But if it does get worse, it's because we didn't do our part. We all have a role to play. We all have something that we can do within us individually to bring folks together to bring about overdue and needed change. We're not going to be saved waiting on Jesus. We got to stop waiting on Jesus, because I think that Jesus is sitting back waiting on us to act, and sitting back and waiting to see what we're going to do. So waiting on Jesus, in my opinion, is not an option. We as a people need to unite, come together, and come up with solutions to address these ills and stop accepting the unacceptable. And until we do that, things are only going to get worse, and we're all going to suffer, if not more than the residual effects. That's why so many people are leaving St. Louis. So many people are getting away from St. Louis because of the ills and the neglect and the disrespect of a people in the community. And now it's being perpetrated, unfortunately, by our own people. Which is even worse. I liked it better, me personally, when the white folks was in charge. At least I would understand and say that, I expect that from them. I don't expect it from my own people, and that's been the case. I'm praying for St. Louis Development Corporation. I'm praying that they do right. I'm praying that they get it together. But until then, I'm not going to wait on them. I'm fed up with them. And I'm not going to, I refuse to continue to vote for the same people because I like their name, because I like how they speak. Those are not reasons to vote. You have to vote for people because of their action. And when they're acting right and they're doing what's right in the interest of my people in our community, I vote for them. I don't have a problem with that. But when you show that you have no vested interest or concern about my people in my community, I can't vote for you. And if you're going to tell me that the federal government sent $500 million and 3.5 years later, I don't see nothing to show for it in North St. Louis, I don't see, and they only took out $37 million, which translated down to $30 million for small black businesses and a non-for-profit. They shouldn't have put them in the same pot first and foremost. And not only that, why only 37 million out of the 500 million? They said that was something that Louis Reed did before he was went to jail, but I don't believe that. I don't think Louis Reed was the sole individual that came up with that dollar amount and enforced it. I think that there's some trickery going on. And if you listen and you pay close attention to what's going on, people, you will hear them say they're doing things with the interest money from ARPA funds. But the people that money was sent for still haven't gotten theirs. But you're working off the interest and getting that out. But you can't get the real money to the small, poor black folks that are in dire need, such as myself and others, that are in dire need of these funds, and that suffered. My business suffered during COVID. There were a multitude of issues that I had to overcome just to even survive and get through it. We were being ripped off by the meat companies. They were sending meat that they had inexperienced meat cutters, and they wasn't cutting the meat right, which means they were sending out, for lack of better words, scraps to a certain extent. And you couldn't send the meat back. They wouldn't take it back. So now you got your money tied up. Sometimes I was happy just to break even. You understand what I'm saying? So, and you can't continue to survive breaking even. And that's why I tell folks, since I was doing great before COVID, don't get it twisted. I was able to help people, and it kind of saddens me and hurts my heart now that some of those people still reach out to me for help, and I'm just not able to help them because I'm on the airplane, and the pilot said when your air mask drops, secure yourself before you try to help anybody else, and that's where I am in life. I hope and pray that I can get back to being able to do the things that I was doing before COVID, but until then, I got to do all that I can to sustain my business so that we can even exist. And it's been hard. It's been challenging, and that's one of the reasons I'm so frustrated and upset, because I know for a fact that out of that $1.9 trillion of American Rescue Plan money, there was some money sent to North St. Louis, starting with the Hood Census Tract. Guess what? I'm smack dab in the middle of the Hood Census Tract, and I qualified for those funds. There wasn't a whole lot of people that were in the census tract. They changed it around and redid it so that some politicians' family members could be included. And thank God that was exposed and that was blocked. And had that not been, there was folks that was getting $800 million that didn't even have businesses during COVID. And we were able to bring that to the light of day, and they had to stop that. And that's another reason I think St. Louis Development Corporation is mad at me, and they don't respond to calls. You go down there, they act like you're getting on their nerve, and they'll send somebody out that was newly hired to try to explain to you where the process is. And the lady had the audacity to tell me that if no news is good news. If I don't hear from that means everything's okay. That is not the case. That hasn't been my experience. And like I said, St. Louis Development Corporation, which was appointed by the mayor, has did a horrible job at distributing these funds and to try to get aid and services to folks that suffered during the pandemic, and you're sitting on the money that was sent. It's not the mayor's money. It's not St. Louis Development Corporation. It's not all the people's money. That was the federal government money sent for small black businesses and poor folks such as myself and others who have been trying to seek those funds for over 3.5 years to no avail. And I'm saying today, and I'll continue to say it, that they've done a horrible job, and St. Louis Development Corporation is operating, has been operating, and continue to operate in a despicable manner. And I say today that I cannot support anybody that appoints people like that, people that are going to tell me that you want to erase the Delmar divide and the federal government give you a check and you sit on it, you lose your eraser. Come on with that. Miss me. It's nonsense. I ain't mad at the mayor. I can't say it enough. I'm not mad at the sister. You can't get mad at folks for being who they are. But I truly believe that she has been a great disservice in handling these ARPA funds when it comes to small black folks on North St. Louis. And I said it, I stand behind it, and if anybody can correct me, I welcome correction. I'd like to see the correction. Don't just tell me you got to point something and give me something tangible to identify with as it relates to how those funds have been handled and so on and so forth. Folks was riding around with those expired plates, didn't have money to get their license plates. They had money in that ARPA fund money for that. They could have set up a thing. That's why they came up with the program where they can borrow the money and have to pay it back. Well, when they pay that ARPA money back, who gets that? Where does it go? Those are some of the things that we need to really look at and be asking ourselves. Don't let the wool be pulled over your eyes once again. It's just so much that we have to look at and have to really examine. I'm going to take a quick break here, and we're going to come back, and we're going to do all that we can to wrap it up.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother.
All right, we're back. Listen, before I get out of here and forget, folks, I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, if you can click on that like button, that will help us out. If you can go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to it. Doesn't cost anything. It's a free subscription. But when you click on that subscribe button, it will give you or send a notification to your phone anytime we're live and we're having these discussions. This is the Prince Carter Show. I'm your host, Prince Carter. I had to come up with a platform because there's no place for me to vent. There's no place for me to share my views and my opinions and express myself. And we have too much going on in our community to be silent. I encourage anybody and everybody, do what you can. I know it's going to be hard. Do what you can to get to know your neighbors. Reach out. Attempt to get to know your neighbors. See if you can create a block unit. In the days to come, people, with the lack of policing in our communities, it's going to be incumbent upon us to unite on different blocks to keep these predators off of our blocks. They breaking in cars. Just imagine if you're working on a job 40 hours a week, check to check, and you're trying to get in your car to go to work, and one of these Bammers then bust your window out. Now you're forced with a and they just going in there trying to get cigarette lighters and loose change and things like that. That's why I always, at one point in time, I had a car that wasn't that new. I used to just leave my car unlocked so that they could get in and wouldn't break the windows. And some people have burglar alarms on their cars that they can activate and leave them unlocked. And then when they open, an alarm go off and it'll scare them away. So I think that it's best, if you can, to use that method opposed to locking them and having them bust your windows, because some of those windows are $200, $300, $400 or more. And now you got to replace a window. You got to put plastic up. It's not fair. It's not fair. And I think that it's going unchecked, and it's becoming acceptable, and it shouldn't. We need to demand that we have more things in place to address these ills. We have to come up with tangible solutions to stop this. And a lot of people have the cameras, and if you know your neighbors, just imagine if you know your neighbors and you can call everybody on the block and saying that they're out there and everybody come outside, which, I mean, it's dangerous, but you can't just keep being violated, keep being taken advantage of, you know. And let me remind you, some of these guys that are breaking in cars, folks, let me tell you, they will shoot you and kill you about your car. They will. They'll do it and won't hesitate. They got guns. Some of them have found guns in cars that they've broken into and so on and so forth. But I don't encourage people that are not trained or if you don't have the expertise to deal with it. And then you still have to be careful, because they will shoot you and kill you about your car and about you saying something to them about breaking into your car. That's just how brazen they are. So we have to be mindful of that. But again, if it's, you know, if you got 15, 20 people come out and you outnumber them, you all can shoot back. Then you got a different scenario. Then they'll know, don't go over there on that block. They ain't playing, you know. But be careful out there. And again, do not, I repeat, by any means necessary, do not engage into an argument about strangers at gas stations, grocery stores, about parking spaces or anything. Walk away, let them have it. Take the high road, because so many people are suffering from mental illness and they have weapons now. So the last thing you want to do is to confront somebody that's suffering from mental illness that has a weapon. You don't want to do that if you don't have to. And a lot of times, not saying anything to them people and getting away from them is your best option. And I encourage you not to do it. Don't fight with them. Don't argue with them. Get away. All right? This has been the Prince Carter Show. I am your host, Prince Carter. I'll catch you next time. Thank you so much. Continue to listen and continue to call.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
It is time for us to use our power. Please do not beg folks for power. Nobody is going to give it to you. You were born with power.
Some very sad news for all of you and people who love peace all over the world. Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's below me.